welcome back to People Jew Want to Know podcast. Today, I'm bringing you a highly requested set of guests, Raizel and Dani from That Jewish Family. That Jewish Family is a Hasidic family comprised of Raizel, Dani, their kids Mendel and Lev, and they travel the world sharing their adventures with all of us. They're content creators who lived a nomadic lifestyle for 3 years, visiting over 35 countries. And I'm not talking about just like Italy or Iceland. That Jewish family has gone to exotic and hard to get to places like Bhutan, Fiji, Greenland, and Ghana. Raizel and Dani started traveling just them two, but as they had kids, they didn't shy away from bringing their kids along for the adventure. Now, for those who are not familiar with Hasidic life or Orthodox Jewish life, being a world-traveling nomad is not very common. In fact, it's completely uncommon. Typically, more observant families don't travel very much because as they want to observe various Jewish laws, this is much harder to do when traveling and especially with kids. Well, That Jewish Family is on a mission to show that it can be done and it can even be done enjoyably. Their YouTube channel, Instagram page, and TikTok have numerous interesting videos of their travels, as well as educational videos on why we observe various Jewish laws. It'll be a video of Dani swimming with the sharks and then Raizel explaining why Orthodox women wear wigs. The other important dimension of their page, whether they intend to do this or not, I think they do an excellent job at destigmatizing the Hasidic lifestyle. The reality is that with shows like Unorthodox and My Unorthodox Life, observant Jews are not portrayed positively. That Jewish Family shows just the opposite, demonstrating Raizel and Dani's curiosity, modern lifestyle, and desire to explore the world just like anyone else. In seeing Raizel and Dani interact, I'm also particularly touched by their relationship. They have a very deep love and care for each other that's decorated with positivity and warmth, not only between them two, but also for their kids. Raizel is from Australia and Dani is from Sweden. Raizel's accent I could hear right away, but I was surprised to learn that Dani was from Sweden and even spoke Swedish. Dani has got to be the most Persian-looking Swedish person I've ever seen. I would have never guessed. So even their relationship is diverse and international. There's a video they have on their page where Dani gifts Raizel a diamond tennis necklace. I can't speak for all women, obviously, but I know that if I had a husband and that husband gifted me a stunning diamond tennis necklace, I would cry. I would be brought to tears. Watching Raizel's real-time, completely sincere reaction was absolutely priceless. And it reminds me that observant couples have the same exact excitement about romantic gestures and gifts just like anyone else. That Jewish Family is a page that helps you connect to humanity deeply, both in watching Raizel and Dani be global citizens and also in the experiences they have that we relate to no matter who we are. In the episode, they talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of being nomads and reflect on their travels now that they've set up a home base in Brooklyn, New York. They also talk about an incident of antisemitism that they experienced in Vietnam. It was very heartbreaking to hear them talk about it. This incident went extremely viral online. And when I went back to look up the video, it clicked for me that I had seen it before when it first came out, but I didn't know it was Raizel and Dani at the time. I bet many of you also saw the video when it went viral. And even given this incident, the episode itself feels completely positive, warm, and lighthearted, just like That Jewish Family. I think you will love them. Please enjoy. That Jewish Family, welcome to People Jew Want to Know podcast. How are you today and where in the world are you?
Thank you for having us. Hi.
Thank you.
We are actually now in New York, in Brooklyn.
Well, we were traveling the world for 3 years as nomads, so we didn't have a home. And now, God willing, we're expecting very soon. So we're settling down. Our kids need school. So we're going to be traveling from a base instead of having no home and living
out of
on the edge.
Sorry.
Okay, well, let's get into it. Tell us about yourselves. What do you do and how did you get there?
So we are a Jewish Chasidic family. We have been traveling, like Dani said, the world for 3 years, and we create content online on all the social media platforms, so Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. So we basically just share our lives as it is as a Jewish family. There's a lot of polarization in this world where people just kind of have ideas of what it is to be Jewish or what it is to be religious or what it is to keep the Torah, what it is to connect to God. And everyone has these preconceived notions. It's important not to say like to break them, but a lot of it's created off of
misinformation.
Exactly. So we create content, just show our life, and people gain insight into the way that we actually live. And a lot of people, it's very eye-opening for them. And it's very much like, wow, I didn't realize the Jewish families really like this. Oh, I didn't realize those were your values. Oh, I didn't realize that it just is very eye-opening in a positive space, in a positive way. And especially nowadays when you look at this world of how polarized it is and how anti-Semitic it could be, this is like more important than ever. So we kind of started, I think 4 years ago now.
Well, it started off with a weekly Dvar Torah. It was like a Jewish thought every week. And I'm from Sweden, so it wasn't Swedish. It was mainly for the Jewish community in Sweden. And that hit off pretty well for that community. But then once I met Raizel, it became into a family channel. So it kind of evolved.
And I guess when we started, it also wasn't like now, which is so good. And there should be so many more people, like a lot of people are doing this. But I think when we started, it was like really trailblazing in a way. Like there
was like really... two other people in the Jewish niche, making content about Judaism in the beginning.
People thought we were nuts, but the more people online doing this, the better, the world needs it.
I love what you're doing, and your whole story is, I think, unconventional in the best way. Even how you met and you got together, it's unconventional. Talk to me about, were you set up? How did you two meet? How did you decide to get married?
So first, we were led into a room. I was blindfolded, and then she was led in blindfolded as well. And we took off the blindfolds, and she had a ring on her finger.
Oh my God, it did not happen.
No, I'm kidding.
People think, but it did not happen.
I'm kidding. So our mothers are friends. They were chatting on the phone, and they're like, oh, I'm looking for a shidduch. A shidduch means like a match. For Dani, her mother was saying, oh, I'm also looking for Raizel. And I guess there was some kind of pause on the phone. And they're like, okay, maybe they can meet each other.
No, I think it was more like, what are they looking for? But it actually took 2 years until we actually went out. We didn't meet straight away. That's kind of where the idea started, And then a lot of friends and a lot of people were just suggesting, you guys need to go out. You guys need to go out. And then eventually Mom was like, Raizel, just go on a coffee date. What does it hurt? Just go out with him. Just go out for coffee and just see what happens. Worst comes to worst, you just won't like him, which actually is what happened. We went on the first date.
She said no after the first date. And I just went home and I thought, okay, maybe we'll go out again or whatever. And then the next day, the shadchan, the person in between, is like a mediator. In our community, there's someone mediating in between once there's an idea. So there shouldn't be any heartbreak. And it can be rough to tell someone in their face, sorry, I'm not interested in you, because you're actually dating for marriage. You're not just dating to be boyfriend, girlfriend. You're actually dating for life, to see if this is something that you want to live for life. So the mediator messaged my mom and said that, no, she's actually doesn't want to continue. So I just booked a flight immediately, went back to Sweden the next day. It took 2 weeks for her to change her mind and be like, you know what, let me give this another try.
It wasn't me. My sister-in-law got so mad at me. She's like, Raizel, you can't give a guy 2 hours of a chance. That's not nice. She got really mad. She's like, you don't know him. You literally met him for 2 hours. And then I was
credit to her.
Literally, credit to her. I was like, fine, I'll go out with him again. And then he was already in Sweden. So I was like, yeah, whatever. If he wants to go out again, sure. I'm not, it doesn't matter. I don't need to. But if he wants to, then I'll be open to it. So then that was slowly our dating process. That's how it started. It wasn't very
It was pretty rocky after that, too.
I don't know. It was pretty rocky. Dani proposed to me after 3 weeks. And then I said yes. And then I freaked out. I was like, that was way too soon. No. I called him up. We were apart. It was the holiday.
It was Passover. So she was in Ukraine and I was in Florida. So she was like, we're dating again. We're not engaged anymore.
I was like, I was like, take that proposal back. That was way too soon for me. What just happened? And then eventually I calmed down and we continued dating and I was more in a better space, I guess. And then now we're here 5-6 years later. Thank God.
Thank God.
I think the types of people that are willing to live abroad for 3 years are also the types of people that are willing to, do things unconventionally in the shidduch process. You guys have a high risk tolerance, which I love because it sets you up on all these adventures. And there's a lot of learning to be had, right? That you're experiencing life. And I love that because I think that the perception of a lot of highly observant communities is that they're insulated and they're closed-minded and they're sheltered and they live life within the insular communities that they're part of, like Muncie, right? What do people think about Muncie? That it's an insular community. But you're showing that that's not true. I don't want to speak for all observant people, but I would say that the nomadic lifestyle is a little bit unconventional for people that identify as Orthodox because it's very difficult to manage all the mitzvot and the rules when you're traveling on the go. You don't know what you're signing up for. You have to make accommodations in the home. Do you think you've inspired other observant Jews to travel more?
I think so. Like we got a message the other week, like, oh, my husband and I became nomadic because of you guys. I think what we said was settling down. They're like, oh, but we became nomadic because of you. And it was like, I did a little stalk. It was a religious couple, but when you click the picture, you could see. But we do get a lot. I actually do get people come over to me and say, I'm on my journey towards Judaism. I'm really like, especially after October 7th, a lot of people feel like this pulling connection and just finding.
There's something called like the October 7th Jew,
like finding our path and our connection to God. And for everyone that looks different. And I've had people come over to me and say, like one thing that's very hard for me is I love to travel. I love to explore the world. And I can't imagine doing that as a kosher observant Jew. So it's not something that like has, it kind of seems contradictory to me, but watching you shows me that it's actually possible. And like, I could see that as part of my future path or whatever it is. We do get people come over and tell us that a lot.
I think the main thing is like, once you show that you're traveling, like, as nomads to the craziest places like to Greenland, where no one goes, like forget Orthodox or non-Orthodox, like there's hardly any tourists there. It's like researchers, or like very, very wealthy tourists like go on like cruises there. It's like a hard place to get to. There's only like, you can only get there from Denmark or Iceland. So when you keep kosher in such places, you keep Shabbos there, and you just show that it's like nonchalant, like it's no problem. I go to mikveh every day. And then they're like, okay, maybe it's just in our heads, like how hard Yiddishkeit could be. How hard is it to keep the mitzvahs? It's kind of a sign like of embracing it. Like you could do it wherever you are in the world. It's not your circumstances that will make you more Jewish or less Jewish. It's within.
That actually really nicely segues into my next question, which is I want to hear more about, as an observant couple, what were your highlight countries where you had a really good time and you figured everything out? And then what were your low light countries, the ones where things got a little more challenging?
This is a very good question. It's a lot of fun. There's so much to unpack.
There is.
Go on.
One of the first places we traveled to together was actually Fiji. What was so cool about that was the people there. They were so fascinated. They were like, you guys are the people of the Bible. Like they couldn't get over the fact that we were real Jews.
They came over to us, like trying to touch us. Some people like feel, from Hebrews are here. They're like super excited.
It was fascinating. The hotel we were at basically had like these two beautiful restaurants, and we didn't have kids at this point, and we did not come very prepared food-wise. Like we didn't think about it. I don't know why we didn't think about it.
We were acting as that Jewish family from the beginning.
But we didn't think about it. And anyhow, the chef who was in charge of the kitchen was so obsessed with the fact that we were like the people of the Bible. He's like, come inside the kitchen. You could take whatever you want. And he literally let us he had slabs of like raw tuna and raw salmon and fresh vegetables and everything, and he literally just let us take whatever we want. And that was like, whoa, that was really nice of him. That was really, really kind, and like it felt very nice to be in a place where we were embraced.
And then like in TSA, like you have to open your bag, and sometimes people see the tefillin and they get nervous. Like if you go to like, not in America, they all know what it is, what tefillin is, but if you go to like Scandinavia, they don't, So they open the shofar. They're like, they see in the scan, they see this horn. They know it's a shofar from the Bible. So they take it out, and I'm like, okay, sorry, this is nothing. They're like, no, please blow it for all of us. We want to hear what the shofar is like. I'm like, you sure? He said, yes. And they all surrounded all the like TSA workers in the airport. They all surrounded us, looking at us like Moses, like sitting there. And I blew it as strong as I could. And there's a video of it. Yeah,
it was entertaining. Fun. The whole airport like literally stopped. All the workers just stopped at TSA lines. That was fun. And we've had some harder countries in the sense where there are some countries that just also food-wise, there's more products and some countries are less. So
some isolated countries don't have any kosher food. Like, let's say we were just in Bhutan. It's beautiful. And the only resource we can have is fresh food. So there's fresh fish and nuts and all these things we got to do.
Eggs.
But on products, like canned products and stuff like that, you're going to have a very hard time because the only country that they're getting from is Thailand or India. So that's very limited.
Basically, when you travel, you have to kosher the kitchen every time, right? Or your alternative is to eat with plastic silverware. Is that how it works?
No, so we actually traveled with we have it as like a momentum, but we traveled with like a pot. It's more a pan, not a pot. Deep enough to like cook pasta inside, but still a pan. And it's electric, so you just plug it into the wall. That's literally how we cooked. Like
we had one dairy and one meat one.
For some of our travels. Otherwise, we just had one. And like we would choose what it was going to be for the next while till we had access to get another one or whatever. And that way it was just the easiest. To like make a kitchen kosher is so difficult. So we would just, it's really like complicated. So we would just one pot dinners, one pot lunches if we needed to. And that was just the simplest way. It was the easiest way.
I recommend it for everyone traveling kosher. Like, it's the simplest way to go. You don't have to go to like a kosher resort or a kosher trip at a kosher cruise. You can travel on your own, And also there's the app now. There's an app. We actually work with them. It's called JStay. And it's like a kosher Airbnb. It's like a Jewish Airbnb for any Jewish traveler. And they can like put in their settings, kosher near me or kosher Airbnb. And then there's people put listings. So
yeah, that's nice.
That's a good solution also.
Yeah, and then we'll just use like plastic, like paperware, or we, at some points when we were able to, we just like bought like metal forks, knives and spoons and just like.
You have to dip it in the water, in the ocean or in a lake to make it kosher.
And then that was it. It's so much simpler than, I think it's more of something that like when it's a headache and a fog and you can't like bear to like cross the fence, you know what I'm saying? Like to think about like, how am I going to do it? Then yeah, nothing's possible. But that's with everything in life. You want to start a new business and you can't bear to like think about how it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be impossible.
You're going to have to make that jump in every aspect of your life. And the more you do these jumps, and when I say jump, I mean like this week's Torah portion, not to sound all rabbinic over here, but this week's Torah portion, the splitting of the sea happened, right? So the Jewish nation left Egypt. And there was this one person which jumped into the water. God told Moses, split the water. And the water wasn't budging, right? So the water came, there was one guy that jumped into the water before everyone, and his name was Nachshon ben Aminadav. He went in, and he almost died. The water came all the way up to his chin, and right before he almost died, then the water split. So we all have that splitting moment in our life, when success breaks and success comes, but it's always, there's going to be that little challenge, that little jump, that little Nachshon moment you're going to have to cross, always. So when you travel as an observant Jewish family, yeah, it's a little more challenging, but once you cross it, it's fun, it's good, it's more adventurous, it's more challenging. There's always that challenge. Okay, where are we finding this? Where are we finding this? It's fun.
It's possible. And I think the world has so much to offer. And if God created this world, he created it for us to enjoy it and to see it and to be part of it and to learn from it and to engage with it, not just to stay in our home and in our four corners and bubbles.
Everyone's meant to see Mount Everest.
Will Smith actually has a fantastic saying about this. He says, on the other side of fear is freedom.
And that's exactly what the Nachshon moment is, 100%.
I have to ask, in the travels that you've had, were there any places where you experienced straight anti-Semitism, like intentional bad anti-Semitism? And what happened?
So I'll start off with the true anti-Semitism. Like in today's society, it's coded with anti-Israel. They're like, oh, well, we just care about the Israelis. But the truth is, and unfortunately, it's very sad, but in the Arab world, there is the real anti-Semitism. Like they hate Jews. They think we're demons. Like they really believe that we are the Satan from a fanatic religious standpoint. Not everyone is like that, but there's a large group of people. It comes from the radical Islam, but their brainwashing came to everyone in the society in like Egypt, for example. We went to the hotel there. They didn't let us eat anything, even vegetables. So
they were like saying Yahud, Yahud behind our back as if we don't understand it. And we're like, we understand that Yahud means Jew. So we like had dinner officially like in our hotel, and we were just planning to take some fruits and vegetables or whatever. And like the guy stood by our table and like Yahud, Yahud.
He called security and they all surrounded us. They all laughing at us.
It was really strange. But we actually had recently Like that was also before October 7th. That was just like, whoa, like where, where did that was intense. And I was very uncomfortable. Like when we walked back, like you crossed the border back into Israel, it was like a sigh of relief.
Yeah, we left because we were hungry. That was a moment we were starving, and we didn't. It was before we had children. We were so hungry, so we just had to leave. They didn't let us have anything.
But then we had recently, a lot of people saw this because we basically were in Vietnam, and there's a famous train track that you walk across, and like by the bars and cafes, and a train comes and you have to stand on the side as the train comes through you.
In Hanoi.
Yes. So we were there, and I was standing just with my kids. Danny was like on the phone a few like stores over, and this guy starts like harassing me, like, careful, Israel's going to send some bombs on your child. Like he started like, God forbid, like he started like really like, and I was just like really taken aback. So I ignored him, but like he kept going. And I was like, I'm trying to move away. Meanwhile, Danny had come back at this point, and I was like, I whispered to Danny, I'm like, just stay away, like this guy.
I was in the middle of like playing with the camera. We were doing a photo shoot. We were trying to make a beautiful photo shoot of the boys. They had beautiful outfits from the previous city, which we tailored. So we thought it was really cute. And we were just taking this photo shoot. So I was like playing around with the camera, and all this was happening. And then the famous moment came where I think it got close to 500 million views on the internet because people restitched that video. And like
not to our favor. Like it went on Al Jazeera, and like it was completely stitched around.
Al Jazeera, let me just take this. Al Jazeera, they put their watermark on my video, which I filmed. So they claimed as if it's their video, which is illegal. So
and completely stitched it too.
They completely played it around to make as if that I was harassing the guy. And Uncensored Men on Twitter shared it, and his video has like 70 million views. Just to his video, his share of that video.
His was also clipped around.
Yeah.
But once the guy saw Danny, he just like full-blown attack. Like he went crazy. Like
humans, dogs, and cats only.
Like, yeah, it was really intense. And he was screaming, and this was all in front of like our kids. And my Mendel's not a dumb kid. He's very perceptive, and he was really like shaken. He understood it. And I like bent down to speak to him, and I was like, Mendel, what does this guy want? He said, Mommy, he wants me to take off my yarmulke. Like he fully understood that this guy had an issue just because we were Jewish, like no other reason. And a little 3-year-old to experience that and such hatred for like nothing. We also weren't even in his store. We were on the train track right outside his store. It's kind of like stores in the track, and we were like taking pictures here. It was really intense, and it was a lot of like dissecting, like speaking to my son and speaking to him about it. And he still, he was traumatized. I was traumatized. It was really scary to have like such blatant anti-Semitism like in your face. But it was a lot of like speaking to him and
Let me just add. So the video I just posted him mainly screaming and being anti-Semitic. But in truth, the BBC actually asked me when they interviewed us like a few days later. So they asked us for the original video. So I said no, because I know what they're going to do. They're going to chop it around and take it to not our favor, use it against us. But the truth is, I didn't share the video because I was so angry at him for how dare he kick out my son and wife. So I screamed at him, and I gave him what he deserved. And
that was upsetting. I have to say,
he was scared also. So that was good. He was also a little scared. I think his shop got shut down by the police the next day, and he got a fine.
What was a little upsetting was when I was like trying to also gather my kids, like their shoes were off. I was like trying to like, you see it in the video even, I was like trying to put my kids' shoe back on and like move us over, like leave. And there was a guy there, like a Australian, and this was like also took me back by like, whoa. He just literally stood up and looked at us and said, "Can you leave? I'm trying to enjoy my coffee." And I was like, whoa, you just saw, trying to enjoy my beer, whatever. Yeah, trying to enjoy my beer. Thank you. And I was like, you just saw that whole interaction. Like we did nothing. A guy just comes screaming at us to leave because we're Jewish, and you don't like the noise. So you're now bringing it on me and my children. Can you leave? I'm trying to enjoy my beer. Like that was a lot, because it's not as blatant. It's not like you're not a human, go. It was just like, leave. I'm not enjoying this space now. So that was intense. And my Mendel still speaks about it sometimes. You know, we did some emotion coding and emotion releasing and a lot of talking and everything, but he still randomly speaks about it. Like, yeah, the mean guy from Vietnam.
He calls it the slechte Mensch in Yiddish.
But I speak about it. Like, Mendel, do you want to take off your, like in the moment, I was like, Mendel, do you want to take off your yarmulke? Like, I just wanted to see how his brain was processing it. And he was like, no, mommy, no, I wear it when I sleep. Like, he was very proud about it, but it was still such a shock for him to have experienced something at such a young age.
I think that's the beauty of what you guys are doing. And at the same time, the danger is your kids have the tremendous privilege of becoming global citizens at an early age and understanding how they can represent the Jewish people throughout the world, right? No matter where they are. And to see their father stand up for their family and present himself as a strong Jew, an unafraid Jew, is the most important lesson that you can give them at the earliest stage. But in exchange, they had to have the bad experience, right, to take away the important lesson from it, which is the tough balance. And I think that this is something they will be grateful for as adults, which is wonderful. But at the same time, it comes with its own line of challenges. And I'm not sure how you grew up or if your parents were big travelers and took you around. But for many people, right, I imagine no, as is normal for a lot of observant families. So for you, it was also an eye-opening experience to go to these places, but also interact with non-Jews, many, many non-Jews who don't understand our people and are not educated. Is there anything that has inspired you in a positive way about having the chance to interact with all these non-Jewish people in obscure, remote places of the world who have very different cultures from us?
You can learn from everyone. There's a book called the Hayom Yom. It's the Rebbe's. The Rebbe didn't write a book, but there's only one book he wrote. It's before he became Rebbe, which is like little tidbits for the day. And I read it every day, and I love it. So there is one Hayom Yom there where it says you can learn from everything in the world. There's so many good people in the world, and there's evil people in the world. And you can learn from even a thief what to do. So there's places we've been to, and we met so many beautiful different cultures. For me, I would say Africa. I learned a lot. The people there are genuinely happy.
And I know it's probably not politically correct to say that because it is not for you meant to be like, how can you say they're happy? Like they need money, and obviously like the infrastructure should be better and everything. But it's true. It taught us a lot. Like there's a lot of things that come from inward rather than, you know, or just from...
I would say the people in the cities are less happy in Africa because there's that, you know, fight for money. But in the villages where there's like no money, they just like eating from the trees and just like eating goats in the night and whatever. There is something to that, you know, like it's a little reminder in life that your circumstances don't change you, don't change your happiness. Happiness is something that comes from within. No matter what you do in life, happiness is a choice, you know, richer, poorer, more success, less success, that's all in your head. That decision of becoming happy is a choice that every human can make. And the earlier in life you make that choice, the better life you'll live.
Let me tell you, as a Jewish refugee from Ukraine, and Raizel, you've been to Ukraine, so you know what some parts of Ukraine are like.
Negative.
Oh, you've also been, Dani?
Yeah.
We went separately before we met.
Okay, so you know that it's not nice. When I was growing up in Ukraine, my family was considered affluent for Ukrainian standards. We did not live poorly. And we lived in a 2-bed, 1-bath apartment. I mean, it must have been 700 square feet. Like, we're talking tiny. The distance between the couch and the TV is the length of the longest, tallest person's legs. Like, that is the space constraint. And when I was growing up, I thought we were living in luxury. I never knew that it was tiny and cramped. I never felt it. And then when we immigrated to America, everything seemed so big and so nice. 6 years after we moved to America, we went back to Ukraine for the first time for a wedding. And at the time, the apartment that we lived in, we were renting out to another family. So we had an opportunity to go back to our home and see the condition it was in, talk to the family, get any final belongings. And that shock factor of going into our Ukrainian apartment for the first time after having lived in America for 6 years, I will never forget it.
Wow.
I was like, Mom, we were impoverished. And she was like, you don't understand. This is nice. Like, this was rich. This was luxurious. So happiness is not only a choice, but it's a matter of perspective. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So that's the lesson there.
In Judaism, we should always strive stronger. And there's that concept that you're never satisfied. And we should always strive to do more. And money is not a bad thing. Money is a good thing because you can accomplish. It depends what your morals are in life. If you have good morals in life, money is great because you can do so many good things. If your morals are bad, then you're just going to use it for bad things. So it's all about how your gauge is set. I wouldn't say that money is a negative thing in any way, shape, or form. And money is something that we should fight to accumulate. But that shouldn't be affecting your happiness levels. That shouldn't be deciding of how happy you should be for the rest of your life. You should be happy. You should be joyous at every given moment in your life. And life is now. It's not just tomorrow, I think if one thing I learned from our travels is, I don't know if Raizel thinks the same, but it's just simplicity. We don't need 10 coats. We don't need 5 suits. I don't need all these designer things and design. And I was much more into it before we were nomadic. I definitely love like cashmere and leathers, and I have a taste for these things, and I'm from Sweden and I love the styles and everything. That's fine. But it's not going to spark joy by shopping more of that. I'm going to spend my money on better things. You know what I mean?
I was just going to say that you become a lot more minimalistic when you're traveling with 2-3 suitcases for 3 years. And like, you realize we're so fine with what we have, Like, I don't need the newest sunglasses that are out. It's okay. Like, mine could work. I think that's a big thing I took from traveling also.
Who knew Dani was a fashionista is the first thing I want to say. That's an interesting fun fact right there.
He is Swedish too.
I'll take that to offense because it means she didn't see that up until now.
No, I did actually at Elise's book release party. You guys looked great.
That's very sweet. Thank you. Thank you. You also looked really good. I remember.
Thank you. I wore my only from passing outfit that I have.
I love that. That's hilarious. I think I wore the only thing that fit my stomach.
And speaking of, your family is expanding. Do you think that you will stop being nomads this year? You talked about having a home base. What's next for you? What does the next chapter look like?
So I think the official title of being nomadic and not having a home base, because that's literally what it was like. Everyone's like, you really didn't have like a place. I'm like, no. They're like, where's your stuff? Like my mother-in-law, my parents' house. Like, we really had no home base storage. I think that journey has kind of come to a bit of an end in that sense.
Well, it has come to an end.
Yeah,
we're not nomadic anymore.
We've rented a little place here in Brooklyn. And I think for our kids to have a sense of stability and home, that even when we travel, they have something to come back to. They've reached the age where I think they kind of need that. So we would love to continue. We will, please God, continue traveling, but always come back to something. I think it's, also for ourselves, like we've been ready. It was very hard to be on the nomadic life of parenting, and anyone who has 2 little ones know exactly. Like, it's intense. It's
and
full.
If you know Lev,
he's like 3 kids. It's a lot. Parenting full time is already a job on its own. And then anyone who knows a little bit behind the content creation world, it's already a job on its own full time. And then trying to run the business aspect of it is already a job. Like, we were doing like 4 things at once, and we were just not sleeping, and it came to a point where it was too much. Mm-hmm. So please God, we're going to be based out of here for now. It's definitely not our ultimate destination, Brooklyn or New York, but for
God
now.
willing, Jerusalem, Mashiach will come very soon, but
willing.
We want to live on the water somewhere.
Yeah.
And have a farm.
I don't know whether it's going to be, but God willing. But we're going to have a home base. We're doing our green card now, so we're going to be within America for the next little while until that gets accepted and we could travel out of America again. But yeah, we're going to keep traveling, keep sharing our life, just come home in the in-betweens. Our kids are in school, which is huge.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And are there any countries that are top of your list now when you have the chance to visit them?
Yes. When we went to Africa, we had like a whole like itinerary. We don't plan, but like in our head, we were going to go here and here and here. And then we ended up cutting it super short. We had something to go back to in America. So we ended up just cutting our trip. And I would love to finish that, East
Africa.
Yeah. We didn't. We were in West, right? We were in West Africa.
Well, we want to go to South Africa also because my sister moved there.
We've never been there. So I would love to do West Africa and South Africa. And then also, what's on your dream list? We'd go to Antarctica.
Antarctica, yeah. I definitely want to go to Antarctica. Besides for that, there's not many continents that we need to conquer.
No, but countries.
Countries, yeah.
There's a lot of countries to conquer.
I want to go to Svalbard, Norway. I want to see polar bears. It's a little island that it's like a Norwegian territory, I think. We were in Greenland, and we really wanted to see polar bears, but the part of Greenland we were in had like sightings like once a year.
I'm terrified to see a polar bear. I'll stay in the house with the kids.
Have you been to Kazakhstan? Have you seen the grave of the Rebbe's father?
No, I haven't. And I really want to go. That's definitely on our list. And also Russia and Ukraine. I want to go there with the channel. I want to do like Mongolia. I want to do all the stands also, like Kyrgyzstan, Azerbaijan, that area.
Asia is a fascinating place for the history of Jewish people. And there are those people, it's a conspiracy theory, but that believe that Japanese are a lost tribe of the Jews because we have similar values. And that all the Japanese people do things similarly to how the Jewish people do it and have like the same etiquette code. I don't know if it's true or not, but I just found it hilarious. I have been to the grave of the Rebbe's father. I went last year and I had the craziest experience ever because they don't have like a dedicated Jewish cemetery in Almaty. They have a regular cemetery with a Jewish section, and that's where the Ohel is. And so I had to Google Maps myself through the cemetery. There is a caretaker for the cemetery and then a specific set of caretakers through the Chabad in that city. And you can reach them directly. You have to be let in. The Ohel's not open. That I did not know, right? Because I'm seeing it's an open cemetery. It's a regular cemetery. So I thought we'll just walk right up. And I take this group of like 6 people with me. I'm the only Russian speaker. We Ubered to the cemetery at the ass crack of dawn. Okay, and we're Google Mapsing through all these tombs, and suddenly it's the Ohel and all these other Jewish people buried around. And there's a door, and so I pull the door, and it's locked, and there's a doorbell. And I'm like, not to worry, all 6 of you that I dragged to the cemetery, I'll just ring the doorbell, and I'm sure they'll let us in. And so I ring the doorbell, nobody's picking up. Finally, like on the 15th ring of the doorbell, some guy in a thick Yiddish accent in Russian goes, "Who are you? Who are you?"
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "Hi, we're in town visiting. We're Jews. We Jews. We're good." And he's like, "Oh, I can't hear you anyway. This thing's broken. Are you trying to see the Ohel? Shake your head yes if you are." And so on the camera, I'm like shaking my head vigorously. And he goes, "Okay, well, our door system is locked, so you need to wait 15 minutes, and I'll send somebody with a manual key to let you into the Ohel." So we stood there and waited. It was the craziest, funniest experience ever.
That's insane. I hope you have a bit of a video for it, just for fun.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. This was well documented.
That's hilarious.
That's really cool.
Oh, my gosh.
It's always a special experience to connect with Jewish history and culture in the most obscure places, I'd like to think.
And also the holiness of a tzaddik being buried there. I'm sure he's comforted by seeing Jews visiting him.
Yeah, American Jews from New York all the way in Kazakhstan coming to see him. I agree.
When we see like old Jewish cemeteries and random places, I always feel like, when was the last time this place was visited? I mean, I'm sure it was. But I always like to like just say like a chapter of like Psalm or Tehillim or something to like, hi to all these souls. Like, if we're a Jewish nation still here, we don't know who these people were or what they went through, but it's powerful to see these old Jewish cemeteries and knowing we're still here, keeping the same tradition. We're still alive. We're still alive, connecting to God, like we still exist, which is huge.
I'm really excited for this next chapter for all of you and the new baby to come. Tell me, how can people connect with you on social media and keep up with your travels and your family life?
They can follow us on That Jewish Family on every platform. It's That Jewish Family.
I have one final question. It's one that I ask all my guests. Who would you like to nominate for People Jew Want to Know podcast?
I love that you do this, by the way. Just saying. Who would you nominate to go on the podcast?
I want to give credit to Rabbi Shais Taub. He's been really exploding recently, and he's been growing. He has over 400K followers now on Instagram, and he just doesn't give a hoot. He doesn't think, what are people going to think? He came, I think it's like that age where he's just posting. He's just doing what he thinks is right, and he's saying these powerful statements and these emotional clips that really change people's lives. Yeah, I think I would nominate him.
Thank you so much for doing this. It's been a delight.
Sure, Rochelle.
It was so nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, please go ahead and rate us 5 stars. Be the first to hear our episodes by subscribing to People Jew Want to Know wherever you get your podcasts. And for exclusive content, follow us on Instagram at People Jew Want to Know.